A routine traffic stop takes a sharp turn when officers spot a gym bag in the back seat. It's unzipped, revealing a massive stash of narcotics. Inside are 4,000 opioid capsules. For Christopher Villani, this stash represents a mandatory, life-altering prison sentence. Villani's first reaction is complete denial, but as he calculates the weight of the charges against him, his strategy changes. He invents a specific ownership history, claiming the bag belongs to Tom, the older brother of his late best friend. He even points the officers toward Tom's mother's house nearby. It is a raw survival instinct. Villani is attempting to offer the police a more significant target, hoping that giving them a bigger fish will secure his own release. The investigators weren't persuaded. They noted that his rapid shift, from total ignorance to a detailed history in about 3 seconds, effectively incriminated him in several federal crimes. Villani's failed gamble highlights the fundamental trade-off at the center of the confidential informant system, the promise of freedom in exchange for information. Drug task forces often recruit informants by targeting young people charged with minor infractions, pressuring them with the threat of crushing prison sentences. During these recruitments, police suggest they have the power to make a suspect's legal problems disappear, often advising them that involving a lawyer will only make it messy. That isn't how the law works. Police do not have the authority to drop charges or revoke probation. Those decisions belong exclusively to the prosecutor. Because federal courts allow convictions based on the uncorroborated testimony of an accomplice, suspects have a massive incentive to manufacture stories to save themselves. This incentive structure compromises the integrity of the justice system. It creates a market where truth is secondary to the most useful accusation. The results are measurable. Informant testimony is a leading cause of wrongful convictions, playing a role in 15% of cases eventually overturned by post-conviction DNA evidence. When a system depends on informants, it creates a structural bias, where the most desperate suspects are encouraged to trade a lie for their own freedom. Beyond the risk of lies, informants face the threat of violent retaliation. There is a general social assumption that the state will protect those who help them. However, the no-duty rule establishes that no federal statute requires state prosecutors to provide protection to endangered witnesses, even those they have recruited. To seek damages for failure to protect, plaintiffs must prove unconstitutional deprivation under Section 1983. The Supreme Court shields officials from simple negligence liability. The government is only liable if its actions are so egregious they shock the contemporary conscience, shielding most policy decisions. This legal structure protects the government's ability to manage its investigations, but it often leaves the human sources of its information to face the consequences of cooperation alone. Consider Tom, the man Villani tried to frame. If the police had accepted that 3-second lie, Tom's only path to freedom would have been an arduous, years-long appeals process. For an innocent person caught in this crossfire, there are few direct civil remedies available against a false accuser in the criminal context. In this instance, the detectives did their job, but in many other cases, desperate fabrications are accepted as truth simply to close a file and secure a conviction. Christopher Villani's attempt to shift blame serves as a warning. A justice system that buys the truth with the currency of freedom will inevitably incentivize the manufacture of lies.